Hey everyone, ready to dive into some serious tech? Today we're going to take a look at the ASUS TUF F15 FX507ZCA gaming laptop. If you're thinking about picking one of these up, stick around because we're going over all the details from a full review. This laptop is built like a tank. It even meets military-grade durability standards. So, is that like marketing speak, or can this thing actually take a beating?
No kidding, the FX507ZCA has been tested to MIL STD 810H standards. That means it's been through drops, vibrations, extreme temperatures, you name it, this laptop has probably survived it.
Wow, so it could handle more than just a few rage quits, huh? But wouldn't that make it super heavy to carry around?
Yeah, it's definitely not the lightest laptop out there. It comes in at around 2.3 kilograms, so, it's a trade-off. You get that ruggedness, but it might not be the best if you need something super portable.
Right, so maybe not for tossing in a backpack. But hey, perfect if you go into a LAN party and don't want to worry about someone bumping into your setup. Speaking of looks, this thing isn't exactly subtle. The review even describes the design as aggressive and angular.
Yeah, it's definitely got that gamer aesthetic. Some people love it, some prefer something a bit more low-key.
Makes sense. But let's move on to practicality. The review actually highlights the backlit keyboard as a nice bonus. And I gotta say, I love a good backlit keyboard for late-night gaming sessions.
Yeah, visibility in low light is key. But a backlit keyboard can be a real advantage in competitive gaming, too.
True, true. And let's be honest, it just looks cool. Okay, but now for the main event, the display. This laptop boasts a 144 Hz refresh rate. Can you explain why that's such a big deal?
Well, imagine you're playing a fast-paced action game. A standard 60 Hz display refreshes 60 times per second. With 144 Hz, it's refreshing 144 times every second. So you get much smoother motion, especially during quick movements.
Ah, so no more screen tearing or blur when things get intense. That sounds amazing, especially for games where split-second reactions matter. What about color, though? Is this a display a graphic designer could use, or is it more for gaming and movies?
The colors are definitely vibrant, but for professional color work where you need perfect accuracy, it might not be the best choice.
Gotcha, so not for professional designers, but still great for everything else.
Absolutely, and it's got an anti-glare coating, too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's got to be helpful in different lighting situations. All right, let's get into performance now. The ASUS TUF F15 FX507ZCA has an Intel i5-12500H processor. And this is interesting. It's got a mix of performance cores and efficiency cores. What's the deal with that?
Well, think of it this way. You wouldn't use a race car to go to the grocery store, right? The performance cores are like the engine in a race car. They kick in when you need max power. The efficiency cores are more like your everyday car engine. They handle less demanding tasks and save battery.
So it's like having two brains in one laptop. Pretty smart. But how about the graphics card? This one's got an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050. Is that top of the line or more entry level? And can it handle the newest games?
So the RTX 3050 is considered entry-level in the RTX 30 series, but don't let that fool you. It's a very capable card for 1080p gaming. You can play most modern games at medium to high settings with good frame rates.
Okay, so a good balance of performance and price. I see it also supports ray tracing and DLSS. Can you give us the rundown on those?
Sure, ray tracing simulates how light behaves in the real world. It makes the lighting effects and reflections in games look incredibly realistic. DLSS uses AI to upscale the resolution of games. Basically, they look sharper without sacrificing performance.
So even though it's an entry-level card, it's got some pretty advanced features. Very cool. The review also mentions 16 GB of RAM and a 512 GB PCIe SSD. What does that mean for everyday use and for gaming?
16 GB for RAM is great for multitasking. You can have a bunch of apps open, tons of tabs, even stream your gameplay without any issues. And the PCIe SSD means everything loads super fast. Boot times, game loading, it's all lightning fast.
So no more waiting around for things to load. That's awesome. But 512 GB of storage doesn't seem like much these days, especially with games getting bigger and bigger. Would you say that's a downside?
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about, especially if you've got a ton of games. You might need external storage later on, but it's a pretty common trade-off in this price range. You're getting great performance and features for a reasonable price.
Okay, so you get what you pay for. But it sounds like you're still getting a lot for your money. Decisions. All right, so you might need to keep an eye on your storage if you get this laptop. But let's shift gears and talk about cooling. This is super important for any gaming laptop. The review says the TUF series is known for having a good cooling system. And this model is no different. It has dual fans and multiple heat pipes. Can you break down how that works and why it matters?
Sure thing. Basically, heat is the enemy of performance. So a good cooling system is essential to keep everything running smoothly. In the FX507ZCA, you've got those two fans pulling heat away from the CPU and GPU, and the heat pipes distribute that heat more efficiently so it can be dissipated quickly.
Okay, so it's like a high-tech AC unit for your laptop, keeping everything cool and preventing those annoying performance drops. But I gotta ask, powerful fans usually mean a lot of noise, right? Some reviewers say gaming laptops sound like jet engines. Is that the case with this one?
Well, yeah, you're right. Powerful fans can be noisy, and this laptop is no exception. When it's under heavy load, you'll definitely hear those fans spinning up. But the good news is that the laptop itself stays pretty cool, even during long gaming sessions.
Okay, so maybe a little noise, but at least it stays cool. I guess that's a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
Speaking of comfort, let's talk about the keyboard and trackpad. The review really liked the keyboard, especially for gaming. What makes it so good?
Well, it's designed with gamers in mind. It's got good key travel, so the keys have a nice depth when you press them. That makes typing more comfortable and responsive, whether you're gaming or just writing something up. Plus, it has the backlighting, which is always a plus.
Right, gotta have that backlighting. What about the trackpad, though? Is it good enough for gaming, or will most people use an external mouse?
You know, the trackpad's actually pretty decent. It's responsive and accurate. But let's be real, for serious gaming, an external mouse is the way to go.
Yeah, you can't beat that precision and customization. Okay, now for the big question. Battery life. How long can you realistically game on this thing before needing to plug it in?
All right, here's the thing about gaming laptops. They're power hungry. You'll get decent battery life for everyday stuff like browsing the web or working on documents. But once you start gaming, that battery drains a lot faster.
So it's more of a desktop replacement than a truly portable gaming machine.
Exactly. It's designed for those longer gaming sessions where you're plugged in.
Gotcha, so not ideal for gaming on the go. But the review did mention some software called Armory Crate. What is that exactly?
Think of it as a control center for your laptop. You can monitor performance, adjust fan speeds, customize the RGB lighting. You can even tweak the power settings to optimize for performance or battery life.
Wow, so it's like a personalized control panel for your laptop.
Pretty much, it gives you a lot of control over your gaming experience.
Very cool. Okay, I think we covered most of the important stuff, but before we move on, let's do a quick recap. What are the main pros of this laptop?
Well, the ASUS TUF F15 FX507ZCA offers a fantastic balance of performance and affordability. You get smooth gameplay at 1080p with the 12th Gen Intel i5 and the RTX 3050. Plus, it's got a durable build, that 144Hz display for super smooth visuals, and a comfortable keyboard for long gaming sessions.
So strong performance, durable build, great display, comfortable keyboard. Sounds like a winner. But what about the downsides? Any potential deal breakers we should mention?
Well, the biggest downsides are the battery life, as we talked about, and the fan noise can be a bit much when it's working hard.
All right, so you gain some, you lose some. It's a powerful machine, but you might need to compromise on battery life and noise. What would be the deciding factor for you if you were considering this laptop?
For me, it would come down to how well it fits my gaming habits. If I mostly played at home and wanted a powerful desktop replacement that could handle demanding games without costing a fortune, this would definitely be a top contender.
So it's all about choosing the right tool for the job. Makes sense. Now, before we give our final thoughts, I want to touch on the overall gaming experience. What's it actually like to play games on this machine?
It's a really enjoyable and immersive experience. That 144Hz display makes a huge difference in fast-paced games. Everything is smooth, no motion blur, and the RTX 3050 can handle most modern games at decent settings.
So it actually feels good to play on.
Absolutely. The smooth visuals, the responsive performance, the comfortable keyboard, it all comes together for a great gaming experience.
And I bet that cooling system keeps everything running smoothly during those long gaming sessions.
You bet. Keeping the components cool is essential for maintaining performance, and the cooling system in this laptop does a fantastic job.
Okay, so it sounds like the ASUS TUF F15 FX507ZCA ticks a lot of boxes for gamers. But before we wrap up, I have one more question. How does this laptop compare to other gaming laptops in its price range?
That's a great question. The gaming laptop market is super competitive these days. But in its price range, the FX507ZCA holds up really well. It's a great combination of performance, features, and durability.
So it's not just a good laptop, it's a good value.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
The most important thing is to consider your own gaming style and needs.
Right, because not every gamer is looking for the same thing.
Exactly. Some people want portability, others want pure power, and others want affordability. So before you buy any gaming laptop, take some time to think about what matters most to you.
So do your research, compare different models, and choose the laptop that fits your gaming habits and your budget.
Exactly. It's an investment, so you want to make sure you're getting the right machine.
Okay, that's great advice. And if you want to refresh your memory on anything we discussed, you can always revisit this deep dive. We're here to help you make an informed decision.
We're here to guide you and make sure you feel confident in your tech choices.
All right, so after all that, what do you think? Is this the laptop that makes our listeners finally click buy now?
Well, if they want a gaming laptop that gives them a lot for their money, the ASUS TUF F15 FX507ZCA is definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty solid option at this price point.
It really is. You get that 12th gen Intel i5 processor and the RTX 3050 graphics, so the performance is definitely there.
Right, and that 144 hertz display is a big plus too.
Oh, yeah, that's going to make a huge difference, especially in those fast-paced games.
And of course, you've got that military-grade durability. That's not something you see every day.
Nope, not at
Yeah.
all. And I think that peace of mind is really important for people who travel with their laptops or just want something that can handle a few bumps and drops.
Definitely. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to highlight about this laptop? Anything that really makes it stand out?
You know, I think the most impressive thing is just how well-rounded it is. You get great performance, a ton of features, and a solid build, all without sparing a fortune.
Yeah, it's like the whole package.
Pretty much. It's not the absolute best of the best, but it's a great option for gamers who want a reliable machine without breaking the bank.
So if you had to sum it up, what would you say to someone who's still on the fence about buying this laptop?
I'd say if you're looking for a good all-around gaming laptop that's a good value, the ASUS TUF F15 FX507ZCA is definitely worth considering.
All right, great. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the ASUS TUF F15 FX507ZCA gaming laptop. Hopefully we've answered all your questions and given you a good idea of what this machine is all about.
Remember, the best laptop for you depends on your own needs and preferences.
So think about your gaming style, your budget, and the features you care about most.
And as always, if you have more questions or want to explore other options, feel free to reach out. We're here to help.
Until next time, happy gaming.